Today, on Be Something Wonderful, act as if you have it all, and you will. It's law. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. We have a big video for you today. The question came up around the idea of acting as if. Acting as if your desired reality, your desired identity is already real, as you're already living it. Act it out, act as if. And this one creator, he was saying, well, Tom, how come it feels so fake? It really feels like I'm pretending. Well, I want to talk about what it really means. The idea, the reality creation idea of act as if, right? Fake it till you make it. And so stay tuned here. Fake it till you make it. Well, you already made it. I've said this in other videos, right? It's done. You're not faking. You're not pretending. It's done. It means that God's will is always done. So what's God's will? Well, according to A Course in Miracles, what is the will of God? He wills his son, you, as I am awareness of being, right? Have everything. He wills that you have everything. And this he guaranteed when he created him as everything. God created you as everything, guaranteed that you have and are everything by making you everything in its image. You were made as everything, as all that is, right? So free will, that's what the true meaning of free will. Free will means the freedom to choose how you will express and experience the will of God. No one can thwart the will of God. God's will is that you are everything and have everything. And God's will is always done. But you have the free will to choose how you'll experience and express the will of God. So that's how we're going to start. We're going to really unpack this idea. Remember, you are the chosen. There's a scene in The Chosen that's very powerful in that show, The Chosen, where Jesus gets his disciples together and calls them his apostles, his 12 apostles, the 12 chosen ones that he's going to send out 2 by 2 into the world of duality, 2 by 2, into the world of circumstances to perform miracles and wonders. Well, we're going to talk about this scene because it's very powerful. Remember, the distinction here is they're not mere disciples. They're not mere students of the law. They're not on a journey to just learn about the law, to follow the law, to believe that the law is bigger than them, to believe that they can manifest and create what they want if they follow the law and they do the right things under the law. They're not a mere student of the law, hoping to be saved from the current unwanted and undesirable circumstances of your life. This is you, right? You are the chosen. Not a mere student or disciple of the law, hoping to be saved from the current and unwanted and undesirable circumstances of your life, but rather to choose. You're the chosen one. The chosen one gets to choose. Occupy and take possession of that new identity and reality that you imagine and assume. It's to occupy and take possession of that imaginal life, that imaginal identity, right? From that knowing that you're the chosen. You're not a mere student or disciple. You're an apostle, right? Acting as if is not about pretending or faking anything, but rather acting as the operant power, the one and only creator of the law, of source, versus a mere student affected by the law. You're one with the Creator. You're one with the law. Yes, the law and the Creator are greater than you, greater than whatever you could consciously be aware of as your physical 3D personality, but you're one with it. No matter how harsh the circumstances, this person's going through a lot, right? There's a lot of circumstances going on in his life, right, that seem harsh, right? Some seem life-threatening, right? And remember though, but because he still considers himself a student of the law, trying to change those manifested conditions. But now he's moving from the idea of being a student to an apostle, right? To I am the law of Moses, as Jesus declared on the show The Chosen, right? Knowing that you are source, that you are the operant power, not a mere student, but you are the operant power. This is how I want to talk about this today. Remember, you're always acting as if. It's really interesting to me because you're always acting as if. You're either acting as if you're not yet who you desire to be by needing, wanting, and hoping for circumstances to change before you declare, I am fulfilled. Or you're acting as if you already are that which you desire to be, taking possession of and occupying that new reality in identity, knowing and declaring the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Remember, in this scene, I will link the scene in the video, Jesus is going to send them out. Your I am awareness, sending out his apostles 2 by 2 to declare the kingdom of heaven is at hand. In other words, to declare that it's done. To act as if. Wow! A master class. The Chosen, with this one scene, is providing a master class on acting as if. You should watch the whole scene. It's very powerful. I'll link that for you. All possible identities, all realities, all images, all scripts, all lifelines, all alternative parallel versions of your life are at hand. The kingdom of heaven's at hand. You get to choose. You get to decide. Nothing's fixed, past, present, and future. This is powerful. Fulfillment. All of your wishes fulfilled is at hand, here and now. That's what that means. And remember, one of the apostles, I think it was Nathaniel or one of them, is sitting there kind of stunned, right, by what Jesus is saying, that he's going to send them out to do works and wonders, to do miracles, to heal the sick and the lame, right, to cast out demons. And one of them says, well, I don't feel any different. I've talked about this in a few videos now, but it takes on a bigger significance today as we talk about acting as if. Acting as if is not about feeling different, right? It's not about waiting to feel different. It's not about waiting for those circumstances to change. It's not about feeling anything. It's not about feeling different. It's not about feeling anything. It's not about wanting, waiting, hoping, wanting, and needing people and circumstances in the world to be different before you can be fulfilled. It's not about that. This is what Jesus, your I am awareness, answers him. And it's so powerful. I don't need you to feel anything to do great things. In other words, I don't need you to feel anything to act as if you're already that person you desire to be. Wow. Right? Jesus, your I am awareness. That's why it feels like you're pretending or faking it. You're needing to feel different about the manifested conditions and circumstances. And I know you're going to say, but what about this? And what do I say or do when I'm in this condition? Or this, with my health condition, with the pain I'm having, or with the emotional pain I'm having with my specific person. Or my mother says this, or my brother says this, or my specific person's with a third party and they're saying this to me. How do I react? How do I respond? How do I act? It's not about that. Right? There's a script playing out, and you're an actor in that script. You're going to follow the script while you light up this new reality within you. As you act as if, all of those circumstances change. Do you see it? So it's not about necessarily what you do or don't do or say or don't say. It's from what state of being, what assumption is it coming from? Because it changes everything. The questions change, the responses change, the things that people say to you change in that moment, right? This is powerful. Needing them and wanting things to be different, right? That's powerful. And then Jesus says to them in this scene, I have chosen you 12 as my apostles. Wow. Not as mere disciples, students of the law, still on the journey, still struggling to manifest and create your own reality, still wondering how to do it. Still wondering how to deal with circumstances, what to say, what's 3D reality doing, how do I deal with it, what do I do with it, how can, with all this pain and all this, it could be a bodily condition or an emotional condition, how do I deal with this, right? But remember, I have chosen you 12. That 12 represents your complete spiritual identity. That's what the 12 apostles represent, right? It represents representing your true spiritual self. All of you, here you are, right? And there you can see the 12 apostles, all of that. Think about the 12 apostles as representing that multidimensional you, all of your identities, all images, all possibilities, all potential within you is represented in those 12 apostles, right? All possibilities for whatever you want to experience as a linear horizontal experience all comes from this center acting as if. Jesus is sending them out 2 by 2. In other words, you're going to act as if. Okay? And you're going to create that physical, you're going to change. Remember, that manifested horizontal experience right here, it looks solid, but it's changing as you are sent out and act as if into that world. As you act as if, those circumstances change. Everything changes. The people, events, and circumstances, past, present, and future. Acting as if, hear this, shifts and rearranges all frames of your reality, past, present, and future, instantly. So they may not look like they change, but any change is a complete change. As you act as if, they're changing, right? They're changing. As a disciple and a student or a follower of the law, it feels like you're faking it or pretending. It feels like nothing's changing. You're limited by the 3D world conditions and circumstances that you have framed and formed around you that feel solid. But you frame and form them all, right? It's not about what you do or don't do or don't say. That comes from within the frame, right? Whenever you have those questions, you're within that manifested frame, trying to move furniture around. It doesn't change the room. It doesn't change, right? It's not going to change anything. Yeah, you might, the chair might be here, the table might be over here, and you might get a temporary something changing that looks like there's change in your conditions or your reality. But you're just moving around furniture. That's why it's hot and cold and good and bad and up and down, right? The fundamental change is when you decide who you are, when you become an apostle and not a mere disciple of the law, when you become the creator of your reality, when you know who you are. You see it not from inside the frame, but from that greater identity, from knowing who you are, from acting from up here and not within the frame. That's why acting as if feels so fake. You're within the frame trying to act differently. That actor is an actor. That script goes on. You don't have to act differently in that script. It's to know that you are different, that you are in a new reality, no matter what's going on in that what appears to be solid conditions, right? It's just you within the frame going, nothing has changed, nothing is changing. It's hot and cold. There's a third party with my specific person, right? That's why it feels like faking it. But when it comes from here, the 12 apostles, Jesus sending them out, very significant, the message here, the metaphysical message, right? To act as if, going out in the world to act as if, this rearranges everything. That's powerful. We'll get back to this. It's not about letting go. There was one of you had a question on the channel, and I'm going to go into some of the things that you were talking about. But it's not about letting go of the old manifested circumstances or what you call your story, or trying to change them. You're saying, how can I change my old story when I can't let go? How can I change the story when I can't let go of it? It's not about that. You're trying to make changes where change is impossible in what appears to be these solid manifested frames of reality. Remember, each script is written and exists. You don't change any one script. All infinite possible scripts exist. Non-existence is impossible. That's the whole meaning of infinity is if it's infinite and everything exists. You can't change any part of God or infinity. It exists. The key is to choose who you are now, not from within the frame. That's why acting as if feels so fake. You're in the frame and you're really believing it, right? And this person says this. That's why he says, I get a big dose of my undesired reality, potential third parties, and her being hot and cold. Well, that's why. Because you're in the frame, trying to change that, trying to move furniture around. right? Leave the room. Right? Create a new room, create a new furnished room, right? It's not about letting go of anything, right? And you say here, I'm at the end of my rope. And I understand where you're coming from in believing. 2-year journey of me being back and forth between believing in a new version of her, but then as things seem to get better, they get worse. Wow, you've said a lot here, and I want to cover this, right? Remember, that journey, there's you as a disciple, a student of the law, trying to make it happen, trying to make it work, but always believing there's something thwarting God's will, thwarting you, right? Remember, and then you say, I'm believing in a new version of her. It's not about believing in a new version of her. It's about believing in that new version of you, being aware as that new version of you. When you say a new version of her, that puts you in the frame. That you're back stuck in the manifested frame, trying to change things down here where change can't be made. Right? It's not about the version of her, it's about the version of you. That changes all things. Right? You're trying to make change where change is impossible. That version of her, that script goes on. Right? So still you're a student of the law, trying to manifest better conditions from inside the conditions or the frame. And that's impossible because your reality, those conditions are within you. Every time you look, they change. Right? And they keep changing into this idea that you're on a journey, that nothing changes, that it's hot and cold, it's good and bad, it's right and wrong, it's high and low. Do you get it? So it's not about changing the story you're telling. Just tell a new story. Choose. Be the evidence of your new reality and identity. That's the power of acting as if. You become the evidence. It's not out there, it's you. Right? You. The script is written, so choose a new script as source, as the operant power, as the center of all that is, as the center of your physical 3D experience in duality. Be the apostle, not the disciple. Be the chosen one. Right? When you do, the physical script changes around you. And this is interesting as Jesus is talking to them, and they're incredulous, right? They can't believe it, right? Jesus says, I'm going home to Nazareth for a time. Now, it's interesting that he says this, because what is the significance of what he's saying here? Jesus representing your I am awareness. In other words, remember, Nazareth in this case represents where he's going to rest. The Sabbath. You're resting in that identity now. He's going to go to the temple, right? He's going to rest. He's going to go to the synagogue and pray. Remember that Nazareth is the birthplace of Jesus, or in other words, the physical manifestation of your I am awareness, right? So, and Nazareth, remember, was considered inferior, right? It was considered commonplace people. Right? They even say when they heard about Jesus, the Nazarene, or Jesus of Nazareth, they asked, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? What good thing can come out of those? In other words, think about this. Nazareth in this case is representing the manifested physical conditions that you don't want, those unwanted conditions. Right? That you keep judging them as inferior, judging them as unwanted. Judging them as commonplace, that they don't go away. They seem to be solid. Can any good come out of this horrible reality that I'm living, that you're saying, these harsh conditions? Right? And I understand, guys. I understand your questions here. What good thing can come out of all of those unwanted conditions, those identities, those stories and scripts? Well, Jesus came out of that, right? Jesus was born in Nazareth. That's the message. Everything comes out of those conditions. Do you see? Because they're all within you. You're it. Yet in those, remember, it was, some would despise Nazareth or that town, right? Yet in those despised conditions, that's the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is born and received from that reality, from those despised conditions. Wow. That's powerful. This is a big message here. I'm going home to Nazareth for a time. To rest in the Sabbath, to know that this is out of all of these manifested and unwanted conditions, my true identity is and will always be. Wow. That's powerful. But it feels foolish, right? We feel foolish, or we feel like we're faking it, right? We feel like we're delusional. It feels foolish to act as if amid the despised or unwanted manifested conditions in Script. But what does Scripture say? He does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him. Nor can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. He can't understand them. We can't understand, right? When we're looking in the frame, when we're in the frame of those manifested conditions. We don't get it, right? It feels foolish to act as if. Yet out of all of that is your true nature is within all of those conditions. Because you are all of reality. Right? Nazareth was considered a commonplace, despised, inferior. What good thing can come out of that? Well, Jesus, the King of Kings, came out of that. Your I am awareness, the metaphysical message. Jesus, your I am awareness is sending you out in every direction, 2 by 2. This is what the scene said, right? I'm sending you out. He's saying this to his 12 apostles. Sending you out in every direction, 2 by 2, into the world. To act as if, right? Specifically to our people only. Interesting distinction here, what Jesus says here. To our people only, not to the Gentiles. Remember the Gentiles, the metaphysical significance of that as the manifested 3D focused circumstances and thoughts and feelings about those. In other words, you do nothing with those. He says that will come in time. In other words, they change as you change. I love this. Just act as if. Imagine an act and those will change. Jesus, your I am awareness is sending you out in every direction, 2 by 2 into the world. Specifically to our people only, not to the Gentiles. That will come in time. In other words, that focus in what are our people only. That's the lost sheep, he says here, but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In other words, those thoughts and assumptions that I am not yet who I desire to be. Sending out to that. That's the sheep are thoughts, right? The house of Israel is your true identity as I am awareness. To correct those thoughts of I am not, right? And declare yourself, act as that person you want to be. All the other stuff, the changes, the physical changes come in time. In other words, they change as you change. Right? In other words, you give time, space, and reality to those conditions as you declare this new identity. Right? Wow. As you act, right? As you go out into the world. Very powerful. Really, this was a masterclass that Chosen provided with this one scene on act as if. This one scene is a masterclass at act as if. Jesus, your I am awareness providing a masterclass in how to act as if. You will proclaim, this is what he says, you will proclaim as you go, as you walk, as you act as if. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, that it's done, that I am that person I desire to be. You'll heal the sick and the lame. Those conditions that look so unwanted, so undesired, change as you change. In other words, you shift or move to the script where you are happy and healthy and free and in love. Right? Where you are the one. You cast out demons. Those thoughts of non-fulfillment are not in this new identity. You may see them. You may even have the thought, but no, they're no longer affecting you. They're irrelevant to this new identity. And this is what Jesus says. Remember in the scene, he's pairing his apostles up 2 by 2. Right? And he pairs up Matthew, the tax collector, with Z, the zealot. Right? And what a pair, right? One that wanted to overthrow Rome, right, in the tax collectors, and a tax collector. But remember, neither one are who they were. And that's what Jesus was pointing out. Right? None of you is what you were. Remember that. You will do and say great things because of your past. Wow. Because, in other words, because you're all past realities. You're all identities. I love this. Right? When he pairs them up, they're going, hey, those two shouldn't be put together. Someone that wanted to overthrow Rome and then the tax collector for Rome, you're pairing them up, but they're not. Jesus is clear here. None of you you're not who you were. In other words, you're more than that now. And so you will do and say great things. In other words, you will manifest a life of your dreams because of those paths, because you're all realities, because you're all possibilities, because there's nothing excluded or rejected. Wow, that's powerful. Your entire reality, identity, and experience changes in every moment as you act as if you already are that which you always desired to be. That's powerful. Act as if you already have it all, and you will. It's law. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful Studios. Be Something Studios, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Just thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/group/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, and our membership channel. We just announced our live stream at the end of October 27. It's a Sunday, the last Sunday of the month, 2024 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to come to you live in our live event on the membership channel to answer your questions, to cover topics that you've been sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com, and also the questions and topics that come up during the chat with me on this live stream. If you're a member, be sure to join us. If you're not, check out the link below. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.